In this video, we are going to talk about indentation with Python. Indentation is a critical aspect of the Python syntax, and it is important for defining the structure of code blocks. Indentation is especially important when it comes to control flow structures, for example within for and while loops, which we'll see later in this course. And we'll also see conditional statements, the if, elif and else statements. Many other programming languages, such as Java, for example, use curly braces to denote code blocks. Python uses indentation. Indentation is usually one tab or 4 spaces. Let's take a look at indentation with a script. Okay, we're in PyScripter. Up in the top left corner, I want you to click on the Open File. Navigate to PyBasics, Python Scripts, Reference, and the Introduction folder, and click on Indentation and open that file. Here we have two variables, num1 and num2, where num1 is equal to 5 and num2 is equal to 3. We then have 3 blocks of code here for an if statement, an elif statement, and else, and these form conditional statement blocks. We're going to be looking at conditional statements later on in this course. For now, I just want you to focus on the indentation. Code at the same level of indentation are considered part of the same block of code. Without even knowing what if, elif and else are, they read pretty much like they do in English. If and then a conditional statement, num1 is greater than num2, we're going to execute this block of code. Else if, otherwise, if num1 is less than num2, we will execute this block of code. And if none of these two conditions are met, well then they must be equal. So we're going to say else, print this block of code. Num1 is equal to 5 and num2 is equal to 3. So which block of code do you think would execute in this scenario? It is the first, where num1 is greater than num2. We will run to check that out. And we can see that is what was executed. 5 is greater than 3. If we add numbers together, we get 8, and that is this block of code here. So we can see when this condition was met, it stepped inside this indentation and executed these lines of code. The indentation here is very important, and always remember the statement that code at the same level of indentation are considered part of the same block of code. And just to show you that if we backspace there and we can tab, you can see it's one tab or 4 spaces. PyScript is great, as are many IDEs, that if we create a statement where it needs indentation on the next line, it'll automatically indent for us. So if we retype if num1 is greater than num2, we need a colon for that statement and hit enter. We can see it automatically tabbed for us. We will see indentation throughout this course, not only for the syntax, but also to make code easier to read, especially when we're dealing with the likes of dictionaries. For now, just remember that code at the same level of indentation are considered part of the same block of code. In this video, we discussed indentation, and it is an important aspect of the syntax of Python, as it defines the structure of code blocks.